The year is 1901. It is a tombstone of history, pulled from the wreckage of a Roman merchant ship that vanished 2 millennia ago. But when the brine dries and the corrosion begins to flake away, what remains defies the very architecture of human progress. We are looking at a machine.
It is an object that should not exist.
It is a paradox carved in metal. Was this a lost gift from a forgotten civilization? We must ground our wonder in reality. What we see here is not the handiwork of extraterrestrial visitors or anachronistic sorcery. It is the pinnacle of Hellenistic engineering, a culmination of centuries of Greek mathematical genius and astronomical observation pushed to its physical limit. It tracked the dance of the moon, the erratic paths of the planets, and the timing of the Panhellenic Games, all within a wooden box no larger than a shoebox. How did they do it? To understand this, we must strip away our modern arrogance. The artifact is silent, yet its gears are screaming. The wreckage is waiting. Let us descend into the mechanism. The Mediterranean of the 2nd century BCE was not a world of shadows, but a theater of blinding intellectual light. Imagine the harbor of Rhodes, salt-crusted and bustling, where the air hummed with the friction of ideas colliding. Scholars did not merely look at the stars, they interrogated them. In the academies of Alexandria and the workshops of the Aegean, thinkers had moved beyond the crude observation of the ancients. They possessed a sophisticated grasp of circular motion, mapping the erratic dance of the planets onto precise, predictable grids. Mathematics was their skeleton key, a rigorous, elegant system capable of unlocking the celestial clockwork that governed the seasons, the tides, and the cycles of human life. Yet, this was an era defined by a peculiar paradox. We envision marble ruins and simple pottery, forgetting that the same minds that calculated the circumference of the Earth were capable of bending metal to their will. They understood the physics of torque, the transmission of force, and the reduction of motion through intricate gear trains. They were not just philosophers, they were engineers of the infinite. They sought to bottle the majesty of the zodiac within a housing of bronze, creating a mirror of the universe that could fit within the palm of a hand. But as the intellect reached toward the divine, the ocean waited with a cold, hungry patience. Before we touch the bronze, we must understand the ambition that forged it. The machine did not appear from nothing. It was the inevitable eruption of a culture that refused to leave the stars to the gods. Listen closely. Can you hear the metal beginning to breathe? The Aegean Sea does not surrender its secrets easily. Seeking fortune beneath the waves, they descended into the crushing darkness, only to find themselves swimming through the ribcage of a ghost. Among the hull brought to the surface, the headless gods and shattered pottery, lay a nondescript, calcified mass. It was a jagged, barnacle-encrusted lump of corroded bronze, ignored by the archaeologists of the day. For months, the lump sat in the corner of a museum, a forgotten relic of salt and decay. As the metal split under the strain of centuries of oxidation, it revealed something impossible. A single, perfectly preserved gear, its teeth still sharp enough to catch the light, emerged from the rot. The shock was absolute. The scientific community stood paralyzed. Decades of agonizing, painstaking labor followed. They used needles to scrape away 2 millennia of sediment, mapping a labyrinth of interlocking wheels that had long ago fused into a single, calcified rock. It was a slow, brutal excavation of the mind. They were not just uncovering an object, they were reconstructing a lost language of brass and precision. It was a library of celestial mechanics. The silence of the ancients was finally broken, and the metal began to speak. The metal speaks, and it tells a story of precision that defies our arrogance. When the bronze gears turned, they did not merely track time, they mirrored the heartbeat of the cosmos. It was a digital oracle, predicting the dark shadow of an eclipse before it ever crossed the sun, a feat that transformed fear into observation and superstition into science. Look closer at the dials. Beyond the planets, there is a calendar of human ambition. For a mariner navigating the treacherous Aegean, this was not a toy, it was a lifeline. It synchronized the movements of the stars with the rhythms of the earth, providing the vital intelligence needed to plant, to harvest, and to traverse the wine-dark sea with confidence. It was the ancient world's ultimate navigation system, a portable, mechanical companion that brought the vast, intimidating clockwork of the universe down to the palm of a hand. But this mechanism shatters that narrative. It reveals a forgotten peak, a moment when humanity possessed the tools to reach out and touch the mechanics of the divine, only to let that knowledge slip back into the abyss. It is a humbling reminder that progress is not a guarantee. It is a fragile flame that can be extinguished by the tides of time. We are merely the latest to rediscover the language of the stars. The gap between the ancient craftsman and the modern engineer is smaller than we dare to believe. As we continue to push the boundaries of our own technology, we must ask ourselves, what are we building today that will be found in the silt of the future? There are more echoes of the past waiting to be unearthed, and more secrets buried in the deep that are finally ready to speak.